Boy, will episode 5 of Soul Leveling get you heated, but it has you so excited for more. That group of 6, I can't wait for their downfall. Whether or not they get what's coming to them fully, which is them being left behind for dead and actually dying, as who knows how many helpless poor bastards have they murdered along the way. In hindsight, I should have seen it coming, but I was so distracted by this kid in a shiny suit of armor that I thought he would be the infuriating one. Because anytime I see a character who you can tell doesn't belong and that rich mommy and daddy bought them a bunch of really expensive equipment, they're either going to be insufferable and act like they're better and then get killed, or they're going to try to charge in and we're going to have to save their ass. I was so distracted by this character that I ignored all the red flags. Completely. The idea of sign the contract, you get 2 million. Sure, there's some stipulations about maybe not getting certain types of drops, but at the end of the day, it was basically, we can't go into this dungeon without filling a quota, and we have no healers. In hindsight, should have seen it coming, but I was literally so distracted because every time I've seen a character in shiny armor like that, they're always the infuriating or bad one. And instead, this dude was such a sweetie, just looking after our boy, trying to be encouraging him, but honestly listening to everything he had to say. And then once the whole ant situation comes in, they seem generally like, oh, thank you, bro, like we would have died potentially without you calling that out. And then they leave him and this dude just stranded to fight Kumiko from Soama Spider So What. And they are just scum. They're pure unfiltered filth. And holy hell, man, the fact that why would they need 2 people if they constantly don't have it's like they're leaving them for dead or striking them down, and then they only have to split it 6 ways. Lucky for us, we might only have to split it 2 ways. Unfortunately, we might not have to split it at all if this poor bastard ends up getting killed. I hope not, but what an incredible episode. And the best part is it's not even the action and the adventuring in the cave that makes it such a good... Everything about the show is so good to me, and why I think it's becoming one of the best power fantasies I've seen. I've, of course, have a full live reaction, episode 5 of Soul Leveling over on my Patreon, so if you want to see my full and good thoughts, they're over there if you're interested. Now, there's a lot of greatness with the action, with the exploring. Our boy has grown at least a foot and he's ripped beyond belief. He's making nurses in that hospital need a mop bucket near them, if you catch my drift. He's catching digits, and honestly the misunderstanding of the digits actually doesn't come across as socially awkward in the way that he's just clueless about women, but generally kind of made sense given that he is in a hospital. Oh, that's probably something to do with, well, this or that. But I love the fact that for me, the thing that makes Soul Leveling so great, it's not even the action stuff. And like, that's what gets me with the haters around Soul Leveling, is they act like people only watch or read a show like this, specifically this one, because of the action. But as much as I like that stuff, half of the content I've discussed over these videos is stuff outside of action. It's the characterization, it's the world building, it's the exploration of the menu system and everything. The best part to me out of anything in this episode was actually like the first 6 or 8 minutes of the episode, just seeing his new body, seeing how he's so different, how he's actually being smart about things. Okay, I shouldn't just put everything into strength, because even if I can one-shot it, if I can't hit things, then it's not going to work out. The reason he's avoiding more intelligence, whether that's a bad thing or not remains to be seen, but his mind is, I'm not a mage, so I'm going to put more into stuff like agility and into health so I can deal and be dealt damage. Everything about his character is making sense, but it's the little moments about how we can casually go from the show looking like it's a pure fantasy through and through to us looking at a talk show on TV. Half the people who fight feel like they're in a modern setting, half the other people feel like they're in a medieval-like setting. There's so much little moments throughout an episode that makes me so captivated by this world, and the fact that it's not just, oh, here's a gate anyone goes through. There's rules, there's limitations, how many party members, this or that. The thing I'm kind of hoping at some point will happen in this show is that he'll do so many crazy things, he'll be exposed, like say, like at the end of last week's episode, but he got out of there before anyone realized, and also he didn't think he did anything that impressive like I talked last week. But if he does crazy enough things and he gets his reading done again and he's still classified as an E rank, but clearly his actual skill set is anything other than that, it'll be very interesting, because I kind of assume whatever readings they do in this world, they don't represent whatever he's going through now. So he's probably going to be classified as an E rank forever, or if not a long time, but I'd be interested to see if the world would have to adjust, like give him an S rank, because even if we're reading him as an E rank, this man's soloing bosses like it's nothing. I mean, it would be interesting to see something like that. And those are the moments that keep me super interested in solo leveling. Yeah, the action's fun. Yeah, it's very well produced. I mean, we had a giant snake-like beast that we fought last episode, and it was all 2D hand-drawn, and once again, it looks like we're having that for a giant spider monster. Like, that's pretty impressive, all things considered, for such an action-heavy show. And the fact that my favorite parts are just watching his character evolve, the fact that I want to root for him, the fact that I think he's an enjoyable character, and most importantly, you're turning tropes and traits I usually despise. Big fancy suit of armor, kid looks like he's about to run face first into Satan's ballsack and get killed. And instead, I'm like, can we please protect this cinnamon roll? He got lured into such a shitty situation. How many of these dumb bastards have this happened to? Let's keep them safe and cut all their other heads off along the way. I kind of hope what's going to happen is he's going to solo that spider. They'll split it 2 ways, all's well that ends well, and they'll just discover all those guys' bodies just dead on the way back. That's what they deserve. Not because, like, oh, this is their first, like, how many people have they done this? They said this isn't their first rodeo, so how many people have they left for dead? And this isn't the only group who's gonna do something like this, and that's what they deserve. The action was little, there wasn't a ton of it, but what we had was interesting. I mean, our boy, he kicks it like a soccer ball from behind, man. It was just so good when that one ant tried to jump him. But I like how you can tell it's not just like a physical thing about him being so much better. His ear and his instincts are so much sharper. There's hundreds of holes, if not dozens of holes, where all those ants could jump out. He pinpoints the exact accuracy, and that's why they probably didn't get as many wounded. I mean, now knowing what I know, he probably should have said nothing, kept buddies safe, and let them be ate. But you know what? We are where we are. And the fact that, I don't know, just like the way he responded, like, hey man, thanks, without your instincts there, we could have been really screwed. My guard was just dropped. And I think it's mostly due to me thinking that the scumbag would end up being the dude in the armor, but instead, like, they just caught me off guard, and as soon as we approached that cave, I was like, oh man, we gotta go get equipment, we gotta go get lunch, we gotta go do this or that, and it's like, bro, you have to be shitting me, these scumbags. But that's what you want to see in a show like this. You want to get mad at characters trying to stab you in the back. You want to be sweating, wondering, are they going to be okay? Because in this situation, it's not about our boy being safe. We know he'll live. It's this poor bastard who got dragged in and has been so nice to, he looked at our contract and said, hey, it shouldn't be split 7, it should be split 8 ways. And I'm like, protect this man at all costs. He's probably dying, but protect him at all costs, goddammit. This episode left me pissed off, but so happy all at the same time because I'm so infuriated by those characters, but so happy about how good the writing has actually been for a pure power fantasy through and through. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this week's episode of Soul Leveling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon, and I'll also give you a video shout out while you're over there. So today we have Neko Chibi, Nox, Jacob Darkfire, Ming Young, Morono Santaggio, and June 96. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.